Hey everyone, it's Chris Loud. In this video, we're going to explore how adding distressed texture can bring more depth, interest, and energy into our abstract paintings. I'm working on two 5 by 7 inch pieces of 200 GSM mixed media paper, and we're going to start with a quick warm-up prompt and build up layered surfaces using simple tools and techniques that create the look of something worn and weathered. The goal isn't to make something perfect, it's to create something that feels like it has a little history to it, even in a short amount of time. So here's the prompt we're working from. It's called Surface Breakdown. We've got a 15-minute time limit using Burnt Umber, Naples Yellow, and Alizarin Crimson. Plus, as always, you can use black and white if you want. The goal is to create a distressed, weathered surface using layered warm tones, rough textures, and areas that feel like they've been worn down over time. We're focusing on contrast, texture, and imperfect transitions instead of smooth blending. And if you like working with prompts like this, I've got the 50 abstract warm-up painting prompts download. I'll leave the link in the description. It's it's built around simple ideas like this to help us get started and keep experimenting. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to Laura, Kathleen, Carol, and Steve for the super thanks and coffee support. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So to get things going, I like to break the blank surface right away with some loose scribbles using a Sharpie gel pen. It just gives something to react to instead of really staring at a blank page. And even though we're painting over it, some of those marks still show through at the end, and that can really add another layer to the surface. From there, we're just building things up quickly. I'm using crumpled newspaper, old bubble wrap, a plastic bag, some cardboard, just anything that can create interesting textures. There's there's not a lot of planning here. We're working fast and letting the materials do some of the work for us. These items naturally create uneven and broken marks, and that already starts to suggest a distressed and kind of vintage surface without us having to really force it. What starts to happen when we work like this is that we very quickly build a sense of history and depth into the surface. Even in a short 15-minute window, the layering, the overlapping textures, and the variation in marks give the painting a feeling that it's been built up over time instead of all at once. And a big part of that is the way the surface isn't uniform. Some areas are thicker, some are thinner, some feel worn back a little bit, and that variation creates something for the eye to move through. It keeps the painting from feeling flat. So you can see that I'm putting down some mesh using a little water-based spray paint to get some other textures on there. And that was just a quick experiment with a different mesh and a cut piece of a paper towel roll. And I'm just playing. I'm just experimenting, trying new things, and seeing if anything sticks and reacting to what I'm seeing on the surface here. And this also helps us break away from that overly controlled look. When we're using brushes, it's easy to fall into patterns and predictable marks. We kind of repeat the same motions without even realizing it. But these tools are, these items and different tools I'm using, we're getting textures and transitions that feel more natural and less intentional in a good way. And not saying, obviously I'm using a brush here and I'm kind of scumbling that across the surface to get a little bit of a broken kind of texture there using that brush, and I'm just kind of laying it more flat to do that. But using a variety of tools and the tools that we normally use in different ways, really help us play and experiment with what those can do. So instead of trying to plan every move, we start reacting to what's already there, and one mark leads to another, and the painting starts to develop in a way that feels a little more organic. And because we're moving quickly and not trying to make necessarily a finished piece, these paintings tend to have a lot of raw energy to them. They're a little messy, a little uneven, but they feel active and alive. And the 15 minutes are now up. I put it away for a little bit, and I came back to it. I'm using a woody pencil and putting some marks down, and now I'm just, kind of the world is my oyster at this point. I can use whatever materials I want. So I just grabbed some newspaper that I actually been using with another painting that has paint on some pieces, and they were kind of wadded up in a corner. And so I pulled those out and just started playing with that a little bit to try and add a little bit more interest to the background that I'd already created. I like to come back in and try and push things just a little further. That's where, adding torn paper and charcoal and more spray paint and that black woody pencil, they just really helps play with the composition and bring a little more structure into certain areas. And at that point, we're not rebuilding the painting. We're just responding to what's already there. We're looking for places to add contrast and reinforce shapes, or bring a little more balance into the composition. So this is a piece of newspaper that I had been actually painting on another painting, and crumpled it up and got some of this light blue, and was moving that across the surface on the other painting, and it had dried, and on the newspaper it actually looked really cool. So I kept that, and there were a few other pieces that I did the same thing with, that I thought these would be great for some kind of collage or something. So I didn't throw those out. I kept them, and I'm glad I did, because they I think kind of help make these pieces what they are. After I was done, filming the video portion of this, I did come back a little bit and played with it a little bit more, both of these with a little bit of charcoal. So I'll show you at the end, I'll show you some close-ups, and I'll show you in the close-ups some of the areas where some of that pen that I initially put down still kind of is showing through. So you see that history of building this up. But also show you the final versions of these in different orientations. And I think that they, adding that charcoal did increase the amount of depth that this had, and made me like these pieces a lot more than I initially did when I was done. Again, these were just fun prompt pieces. I just painting and kind of put them away for a little bit and then came back. And really ended up kind of liking these. They're very rough and very very distressed, but that was the whole goal of this prompt, was to do something a little different. And I think one of the most valuable parts of doing exercises like this is how many ways we can apply these techniques to other paintings. For example, this kind of surface works really well as a base layer. We can start a larger piece this way and then paint on top of it. And that we can let some of that texture show through to create depth. It also is a great way to break up areas that feel too flat or too clean. If a painting starts to feel a little stiff, adding some of this texture can bring back, a little life pretty quickly. Another approach is using contrast, placing distressed textured areas next to smoother, quiet ones. That difference naturally creates a focal point and gives the eye somewhere to go. And then there's, collage. Bringing in torn paper on top of a textured surface helps everything feel more connected. It becomes less about layering random elements and more about building a cohesive surface. And this is also a really useful way to revisit older paintings. If something isn't working, instead of starting over, we can layer into it, add texture, and rework the surface until something new starts to emerge. So you can see that I have some areas, some patterns that are similar in both of these. Obviously, the newspaper with blue paint on it. Each of these have square boxes in them. One's a crossword puzzle, I believe one's a Sudoku puzzle, and some kind of stenciled grids. Obviously, the colors, and then the woody pencil. I wanted these to be able to sit side by side and look very different, but be sister pieces to each other. And I'm going to bring in a little bit more of that white water-based spray paint and get just a few dots on the piece on the right just to tie it in with that as well. So there were a lot of areas that kind of tied together with these two pieces. And I rolled over that with a brayer because when the paint is still wet, that spray paint is still wet, it lifts some of that up and gives it a kind of broken and kind of like we're going for a distressed look, as opposed to these clean little dots there. And then working this and just trying to get a little bit more form and depth with some charcoal. And I'll come back in again after the video and play with it a little bit more. I'll show you what that looks like at the very end here coming up. So even, in these quick warm-ups, we start to notice patterns. How we build up surfaces, the kind of textures we're drawn to, how far we push things before we stop. It's a good reminder that we're developing a style even in those shorter exercises. So here's some of those close-ups. And I think the big takeaway is just how powerful the surface can be. We don't always need more detail or more complexity. Sometimes just creating the feeling of a worn texture surface is enough to carry the painting. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. So here are the close-ups and different orientations of the final piece. So thanks for watching, and keep on painting.